Pastor Ock Soo Park is visiting Israel through the government's invitation. Starting on the 14th, he attended a week-long full-packed schedule from morning to evening. Broadcast media applauded Pastor during interviews. Meetings with different government offices, representatives, and rabbis are also held. Pastor Park also led several Bible conferences among the Jewish community. He also had dialogues with education officials to discuss mind education. On the morning of the 15th, Pastor Ock Soo Park's meeting with Knesset, the National Assembly, the supreme state body of Israel, is scheduled. He met Knesset members, Representative Itamar Ben-Gvir and Representative Simcha Rothman, and Director of the Knesset Education, Culture and Sports Committee, Director Judith Gedali. Pastor Park introduced them to the activities and achievements of the IYF and the direction of mind education.
교육 제가 처음 들어보는데요. 아주 흥분이 되고
and I'm amazed of the success of this system.
그리고 이 교육의 성공이 참 놀랍습니다.
And hopefully
또 성공적으로 하셔서 축하드리고요.
it will go on in your country and for other countries as well.
다른 나라에서 계속되기를 바랍니다.
Then, at the invitation of the Israeli Ministry of Education, Pastor Ock Soo Park and Vice Minister of Education Abhi Ganon met. In this meeting, they discussed specific ways of cooperation to implement mind education in Israel. Pastor Park emphasized the impacts of thinking, self-control, and exchanges on the lives of young people. He stressed that these are the most given emphasis in mind education. Pastor Park also shared full conviction on how mind education could solve the problems of Israeli youth. In addition, he introduced the mind education textbook developed by the IYF. He suggested the selection of a mind education model school that is currently being implemented or planned by various governments around the world, a pilot education plan, and a mind teacher training plan.
Very interesting meeting, very interesting educational concept, and for us in the ministry it's something that we should explore, and the target now is to see how we can combine or to create a work group between the Ministry of Education, the Israeli Ministry of Education, and the Mind Education. I think it was a great meeting and great inspiration.
On the 16th, Pastor Ock Soo Park met First Deputy Prime Minister Zieb Elkin from the Ministry of Jerusalem and the Ministry of Housing and Construction. At this time, Deputy Prime Minister Elkin is the official inviter for Pastor Ock Soo Park's visit to Israel. Pastor Park introduced mind education and announced that the IYF would be with Israeli youth education.
It's very, very interesting, and you're totally right. It's
맞습니다.
the issue of education.
이 교육이
Try to train our young people. It's very, very important.
교육하는 게 아주 중요합니다.
Our countries are very similar.
우리나라도
The
비슷합니다.
ways that we did it very short period.
우리가 이렇게
It's a lot of the
시간에
problems surround us.
또 많은 문제가 우리 주변에 있습니다.
그래서 앞으로 마인드 교육을 배우면
So if young students learn the mind education,
사고하는 법,
they learn how to think deep
다음에
and
자제하는 법,
self-control
교류하는 법,
and connection and exchange.
그런 걸 배우면
When they learn these things,
삶이 확실히 달라져요.
their lives completely change.
국가 장래는 젊은이에게 달렸는데
And so the future of the country is up to the young people.
기회가 되면
So if you have the chance,
이스라엘 아이들 학생들도 사고하는 법 가르치고
we want to teach the students a visual about deep thinking as well.
Thank you very much. It's very, very interesting.
Through this invitational visit to Israel, mind education, which is leading the change of youth in various countries around the world, will open a new path in Israel. This is Good News TV, Angel Jewel Vanguardia.